Okay. Just Hare Krishna. So, just 1 minute. Hare Krishna. So, we'll do Sandhi first, and then I'll share my screen right now. Okay, so I think the screen is visible now.
Yes.
So, yesterday we studied Guna Sandhi, and I think that was quite easy. So, today we'll study Vriddhi Sandhi. So, yes, so Vriddhi Sandhi is basically Advaya plus uh, Advaya. So it becomes I. Advaya plus Advaya and it becomes I. So example for this is uh, Adya A. Or first of all, we can write small and A becomes I. Example is Adya Eva. Can anyone guess the form?
Deva.
Adya. So here A and or and A joins together to make I. So Adhyaiva. Another example is the long A plus A becomes I. Another possibility. So Tatha Eva. So what would be the answer here?
Tathaiva.
Yeah, this is very common usage in scriptures, especially in the commentaries. All the acharyas they use it left and right. So Tathaiva. Tathaiva. Okay. Third possibility is a with I becomes I. Example for this could be Deva Aishwarya. So, what could be the answer here?
Devaishwar.
Yeah, Devai, Devaishwarya. Devaishwarya. Fourth possibility is A Jama plus A. No, we did it. I. It becomes I. So, example for this could be Vidya plus, let's say, okay, again, Aishwarya. So, what would be the answer here?
Vidyashwar.
Okay. Vidyashwarya. So this was the first part of Vriddhi Sandhi. And second part is Advaya plus Odvaya. Here, now I think you are all getting familiar with the Dvaya's concept. Advaya means A and A, Advaya means A and I, Odvaya means O and O, and so on. So the form will be O. For example, again, four possibilities. So first possibility is short A and long O becomes O. An example could be uh, Tandula Odanam. Tandula Odanam. So the form will be
Tandalodanam.
Tandulaudanam. So it changes into O. Tandulaudanam. So Tandula and Odanam. Okay. Second possibility could be let's say a long A with O becomes O. So Maha O Aushadhi becomes
Mahoshadhi.
Mahaushadhi. 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 So here this A mixes with O and it turns into O. Mahaushadhi. Another could be O is equal to Vana Aushadhi. So but okay. This is very close. One Aushadhi. One Aushadhi. No, we know this. One Aushadhi. Another example, the last possibility is long A with O is also O. So an example of this could be let's say something like Maha and it's Ogha, right? Or yeah, Ogha is right. So Maha Ogha, it becomes
Mahogha.
Mahogha. Yeah, so this was the second Vriddhi Sandhi. This is also very famous Sandhi. And yes, so we're done with Vriddhi Sandhi. So next type
हरिबोल
of Sandhi.
बाबूजी आपकी आवाज आज साफ नहीं आ रही है, थोड़ा सा ब्लर हो रहा है साउंड।
आई थिंक मेरे को लग रहा है कि थोड़ा इंटरनेट में जहाँ मैं बैठा हूँ प्रॉब्लम। अभी आवाज आ रही है?
जी नहीं, आवाज तो आ रही है पर थोड़ा ब्लर हो रहा है, मतलब क्लियर नहीं आ रहा जैसे कल था।
हरे कृष्णा। अभी लग रहा है को थोड़ा पहले से अच्छा।
जी अब बेटर हुआ पहले से।
वो पंखे की आवाज आ रही है। ठीक है, तो ये तो वृद्धि संधि हो गई। अभी हम फोर्थ वन है।
Sorry, I don't know Hindi at all practically.
Yeah, that was out of context. Means it was just about the voice. It was not a grammar thing. Mataji was telling that my voice was breaking. It was cracking in between and all. So the sutras for Vriddhi Sandhi from Jiva Goswami's Harinamamrita Vyakaran is A, Dvai, I. So this is the sutra for this sandhi. 3a, edvai ai. And the rule for this one is o, dvai, au. Again, here we get advayam as a ghost because advayam followed by edvai becomes ai. Advayam followed by odvai becomes au. Like this. Okay. So oops. Then we move to Guna Sandhi. So Guna Sandhi is basically till now all the sandhis we did. So in these sandhis, at first place we had a letter from Advaya, and then in sequence we had vowels starting from a, then to e, then to u, then to r, and again then to e, then to u. In sequence from a to e, and likewise. Okay, so now at the first place we'll have idvaya. 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 And at the second place, if we get any Sarveshwaras minus Idvaya, any Sarveshwaras minus Idvaya, then the result will be simple. The first E, the short E, the Vaman E or the Trivikrama E, turns or changes into Ya. And the next Sarveshwara remains as it is. So this is also a substitution sandhi, Adesh sandhi, as we studied in the first class. But here only one letter is getting substituted, not both of them. Till now, in all the sandhis we did, in Dirgha sandhi and in Guna sandhi and in Vriddhi sandhi, there was a substitution, Adesh, of both of the letters. But in this fourth sandhi, Guna sandhi, we are only substituting one letter. How? We'll see with an example now. So, example is Yadi and Api. Very famous example. Yadi and Api. So here we have got E at first place, short E, and we have got a Sarveshwara, and in this case A at second place. So what will happen is this E will change into Ya, like this. Yad, and Api will remain as it is. The A here will remain as it is. So the form will be Yadyapi. In Devanagari we write like this. Yadyapi. Yes. Second example could be okay. Prati Ekam or Prati Ekam, let's say. So, any guess here? What could be the form?
Pratik.
Pratyek.
Yeah, Pratyek. Pratyek. In Hindi we say Pratyek, Praniga, and so on. So Pratyek means everyone, each and everyone. Another example could be, let's say, Iti Aha. Okay, Iti Aha. Then what could be the form here?
Ityaha.
Ityaha. The E, short E, changes into Ya. Whether it is short E or whether it is long E, both of them changes into Ya. And in English, in Roman, we don't, write it combinedly. We give a space here. But in Devanagari, when we write it, then we write them combinedly like this. Ityaha, like this. So this is quite a difference. Another example could be Gopi, then let's say something Gopi, anything, Gopi something. Let's say Udakam. Gopi Udakam. So what would be the form here?
Gopyudakam.
Gopyudakam, of course, a space. Gopyudakam. So like this. Okay, what would be the form here? Lakshmi. Okay, so this is a master blaster. Lakshmi with a long E and Iti with a short E at the beginning. So those who know grammar, you may give another devotee's chance to speak here. So what would be the form here? Lakshmi Iti. Just notice this rule here. Any guess?
Lakshmi.
I'm sorry.
Lakshmi.
Lakshmiti. Any other guess? Mataji is saying
Lakshmiyati.
Okay, one devotee is saying What are you saying, Prabhuji?
Lakshmiyati or something.
Like this.
Yeah, Lakshmi. I was thinking Lakshmiyati. It will be Lakshmiyati.
We don't have A here. Means we don't have A here. A or
but then how do we pronounce it?
Yeah, that's what we are trying to do here. So, okay, as per you, we convert the long E into Y. Any other guess here? So, can anyone tell which is the right answer? The second one or the first one?
First one.
Okay, how many says first one? Write in your chat box. Let's, do the vote poll. How many of you say the first one is right?
Ruji, there you have written plus Sarveshwara's minus E.
Yes, minus Idvaya.
Minus Idvaya, but this is again Idvaya only, na?
Yes. So that's why I said please consider the rule. Okay, three devotees says.
So that rule will not work here then.
This rule.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's yes, everyone is right. 4 devotees said first. Yes. So I was just cross-checking. So first one is the right answer.
Yeah.
And it's not a Guna Sandhi, it's a Dirgha Sandhi. It's the very first Sandhi. This one. And this is an example of this one. A long E, Lakshmi, and then a short E. So, and I gave the same example here. Lakshmi. So that's why if we have both the the same dvaya at both places, like idvaya at first place and then again idvaya at the second place, whether short or long, then it turns into dirgha sandhi, the long vowel. So for at all situation, it's known as dirgha sandhi. So it cannot be guna sandhi. So Lakshmiti is not a valid example for guna sandhi. Okay. Yes. So, and this is very famous sandhi. This guna sandhi is very famous, especially this e converting into ya and so on. Very famous sandhis. Okay. So there are a lot of examples, but we won't go into so many right now. Second one is udvaya plus any sarveshwara minus udvaya. then what happens is the Sarveshwara at the second place remains as it is, but this Udvaya, whether short U or the long U, changes into, can anyone tell what letter comes here?
Va.
Va. Va. So the Udvaya changes into Va. So any example for this one could be, let's say, okay, the very famous Guru Ashtakam, we sing every morning, Guru Ashtakam. So what will happen here?
Guru Vashtakam.
So this U will change into Va, and then it will be, sorry, Gurv Ashtakam, and in Devanagari we'll write it like this, Gurv Ashtakam. Another example could be Shishu Aikyam. Okay, so what would happen here? Yeah, means very simple. Just change the U with Va and that's all. Finished. Shishvaikyam. When we pronounce it, so it comes like Shishvaikyam. Shishvaikyam. Okay, any other example could be Madhu Arihi. Okay, so what could be the form here?
Madhvarihi.
Madhvarihi. Madhu Arihi, Madhvarihi. Okay, another example could be Guru Upadesha. Okay, what will happen here?
Upadesha. Guru Upadesha.
Gurva Updesha.
Gurva Upadesha, right?
Guru Upadesha. I think this is Dirgha Sandhi.
Okay, there is a confusion here. So one Prabhuji is thinking it's a Guru Upadesha, thinking it to be Dirgha Sandhi, and I think one devotee is telling something else, something like this. Gurva Upadesha. So again, which one is right? First or second?
First one.
How many go for the first one? That first one is right. And how many for the second? Okay. Our chat box. One devotee says first one. Second devotee says first one. Okay. So yes, of course, 2/3 majority vote wins. So the first one is right. It's Guru Upadesha, and it's not a Guna Sandhi, it's a Dirgha Sandhi. Because we have Udvaya at first place and again Udvaya at second place. So as per the rule, this is an invalid Sandhi to be put here. So this is not a proper place to be here. Okay. Yeah, so like this. Third one is Dvaya plus any Sarveshwara again minus Ridvaya. It becomes, can anyone tell or guess what does it become? It becomes, yeah, it simply becomes Ra. So example is Pitra Upadesha. So what does it become? Just change this with a simple R.
Pitrupadesh.
Yeah. Pitrupadesha. It's Pitrupadesha. Like this. So it's Pitrupadesha.
Prabhuji, one question with the B. Like when there is a for the second word, beginning of the second word, or a or is there. It is easy to pronounce. It's like because it is we can have any Sarveshwaras. So if after u there is re, and then it converts. So how do you pronounce it? Like if there is some example.
Okay, let's put some random example. Let's say we have, let's say Vishnu, and let's put Rishi. Okay, and the form changes into Vishnu. U changes into Va, and the Rishi remains the same. Quite a tongue twister. So it will go like this: Vishnu Vrishihi. It will be Vishnu Vrishihi.
Okay, Vishnu Vrishi.
Like the bull in Sanskrit is known as Vrishabha. So the pronunciation here Vrisha goes here. Vishnu Vrishihi. Okay.
Vishnu Vrishihi.
Yeah, Vishnu Vrishihi. Like see, this Shana and Va, they are conjunct consonant. So if there was any vowel here, it would have been easy to pronounce.
Yeah.
But it's like three words together without any vowel in between, and then a difficult to pronounce vowel, which is Vri. So it's little compact in this case, but the pronunciation goes like this: Vrisha.
And in Devanagari, if we have to write it like
this Vrisha, this one.
Yeah, this one.
Then it will go like this. Vishnu Vrish, yeah, like this. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
So yes, Pitra Upadesha. Then let's say Bhratra Agata. Yeah, Bhratra Agata. Then what would be the answer here?
Bhratra Agata.
It will be Bhra. Simply change this with Ara. So Bhratragata. That's all. Any doubt here? I think it's okay. So the rules as per the sutras as per the Harinamamrit Vyakaran is as follows. So for this first Guna Sandhi, the rule is Idvayam eva yaha sarveshvare. Idvayam eva yaha sarveshvare. It means if there is Idvaya at the first place and a Sarveshvara at the second place, then Idvaya changes into Ya. And of course, that Sarveshvara should not include Idvaya. So this was the first sutra. The second sutra is Udvayam. Sorry. So the second sutra for B is for B Udvayam Vaha. That if, and again Sarveshwari is a repetition here, so we'll take it as a ghost. Udvayam Vaha Sarveshwari, that if a Sarveshwara follows again minus Udvaya, then that U changes into Va. And 4C is Ridvayam yeah. So Ridvayam Raha and Sarveshwari, of course. If Ridvayam is there and Sarveshwara follows minus Ridvaya, then that Ri changes into the consonant Ra. So these are the sutras from Jiva Goswami, and yes. So I think we did sufficient sandhis today. So we did Vriddhi Sandhi and we did Guna Sandhi. So please, uh, whenever you study, scriptures, Prabhupada's books or any other scriptures, of course, Vaishnava scriptures. So, of course, you will get around many sandhis, especially all these sandhis. So, if you come across any sandhi intentionally or unintentionally, just write it down or just mark it, and you may share it even in this class. So, I may ask. So, does anyone went through any sandhis in your study which you would like to share here? Anyone? No? Okay, no issue. But you can do that. Means it's an open portal. You can come and share. Okay, so we are done with Sandhi grammar part. So we'll jump to the shloka part.
Guruji, I have one question.
Okay.
Does Jiva Goswami have any different words or names for these terms like guna or dirgha, the sandhis, these
Okay.
categories?
I was thinking whether to reveal or not, but because you asked, so I should reveal. So dirgha is Trivikrama, as I said.
Yeah.
Dirgha is Trivikrama.
Yes.
Guna, he will disclose, Jiva Goswami will disclose in the third chapter. No, in the second chapter, yeah. But your inquiry make me disclose it here. So Guna is Govinda actually by Jiva Goswami. Okay. And Vriddhi stands for Krishnindra actually. Okay. And oh, sorry. This is not Guna actually. This is Yana. This is Yana actually. Yana Sandhi. So Vriddhi stands for Krishnindra, and this Yana, this name is given by another grammarians, but Jiva Goswami has not given any particular name for this Yana. So like this. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Guruji. Guruji, one more question. While discussion, another devotee was asking me that in the secular, the Sanskrit community, the general scholar community, do they accept Harinamamrit Vyakaran or they only accept Panini?
Means Harinamamrit Vyakaran is not even known to the devotees who are meant to.
Right.
Is not even known to devotees. So what to speak of the general secular group? So
Yeah, correct.
So for sure it's unknown yet, and I think it should be known amongst scholars because Harinamamrit Vyakaran is more organized than Panini, I'll say.
Yes, okay.
Because I went through all the Brihat version, all 3200 approx sutras, and it's very much organized. And I have talked to many Panini students when I was in Vrindavan studying. So they were like, most of the Panini students, they just do not understand it. So it's somehow or the other that their teacher make them understand, and still after a lot of effort they grasp the thing. But in Harinamamrit Vyakaran, Jiva Goswami has simplified, everything really to the ground level, so that anyone can understand. But still,
So
Panini is famous because many scholars popped in. They simplified Panini, and because it was written originally at the first place. So there are many reasons why Panini is well known and why Harinama Vyakaran is not. Because even our acharyas, they refer to Panini in commentaries.
Yes.
Even Jiva Goswami in some of his books refer to Panini. Because Jiva Goswami came afterwards, and all the like Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Mahaprabhu, Sridhar Swami, they were prior to Jiva Goswami. So of course by that time Harinamamrita Vyakaran was not in existence. So they had to refer to Panini and other system of grammars. But Jiva Goswami simply says in his Mangalacharan to Harinamamrita Vyakaranam that Vaishnavartha Machinmaha, that I am compiling this Harinamamrita Vyakaran for the sake of Vaishnavas. So his target audience is Vaishnavas. He's clearly mentioning that my target audience for Harinamamrit is the devotees of Krishna, of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's all. And he says that by reading Harinamamrit Vyakaran, all our purpose of Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipuno will be fulfilled. And the devotees need not go and study other systems of grammar. This is Jiva Goswami's wordings as it is.
So as far as Puji Sanskrit grammar is concerned, Harinamamrit Vyakaran is enough in itself. One need not study Panini separately also.
Yeah, no such usage, because it's like 90-95% same. Only 5-10% of the stuff Jiva Goswami didn't take and include in the book, considering it unimportant for the Vaishnavas to study.
Oh yeah, okay.
So it's like 90-95% same thing.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
May I add just few words to that
please.
question?
Yes.
It is actually a very good question, and you are 100% right that this grammar has everything. But what I see and what I heard and what I learned from others, that means if you want to communicate with Sanskrit scholars, if you want to put any kind of question, means you have to know their language, means their grammar. So if you put any question based on our grammar, they will not understand you, or if they explain something, you don't know their terminology and sutras, so you will not be satisfied. Means in that regard, Paninian grammar is useful also, because it is accepted by everyone, and everyone knows practically only that grammar.
Means that's the reason that I am telling you all these definitions. Even this yana, guna, these are all from Panini actually. So I'm telling you all this because so that you become familiar even with the terminology of the Panini system, so that whenever you come across any such scholar or any such description in the scriptures or wherever, so you may easily relate. Means if you just know Vrishnendra and you don't know what is Vriddhi, then you may mess up sometimes, because many times people just refer to Panini and Vriddhi things like Vriddhi, Guna and Yana and Dirgha. They don't know what is Vrishnendra. They just know Govinda as Krishna, the Lord, but they don't know Govinda as Guna. So I'm trying to take both things together so that at least we know the terminology of the Panini and we properly study the grammar of Jiva Goswami. So I'm trying to reconcile both things here in our study. Okay?
Yes, Prabhuji. So basic terminology of Panini is helpful.
Yeah, and we'll surely go through that, and we are going through that. Like,
yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so we finish with the grammar part, and so now we'll take up one shloka from Bhagavad Gita. So this is the 4th verse. Yesterday we covered the 3rd verse, or actually we didn't cover. We uncovered. We uncovered the 3rd verse. Today we'll uncover the 4th verse. So, Atra Shura Maheshwasa Bhima Arjuna Samayudhi Yuyudhano Viratascha Drupadascha Maharathah. So be ready and we'll start the game now. The first word is Atra. Okay, so what is Atra? Is it a noun? Is it a verb? Is it a pronoun? Is it a kridanta or whatever? What is it? Any guess?
Means the meaning is here. I think so. But
Uh-huh.
इसे pronoun को कुछ
Okay,
here.
just one more announcement that whenever we are discussing any verse from Bhagavad Gita or anything, please don't look at the translations and the word meanings in Prabhupada's Gita or from anything else. Then it will mess up because we'll see the things from the books and we won't be able to grasp the thing here. So please, it's my humble request. So please don't look at the word meanings and translations when we are discussing words. Afterwards, you can see. Okay. So this is a pronoun as per one devotee. And of course, this is a pronoun. And in Sanskrit, we say pronouns as sarvanam. So it's a pronoun. Okay. What does it mean, atra?
here,
Here. Okay. Something else related to atra? So, okay, now I'll share an advanced knowledge about atra. So basically, the root word, the stem word of atra is Mandalpati Prabhu, is it idam, right? Asmin comes from idam, right? If I'm not wrong.
Asmin.
Asmin comes from idam, right?
Looks like.
Yeah, it comes from idam. So the root, the stem word is idam, and idam's 7.1 case, Saptami Vibhakti and Prathama Vachan is asmin. Asmin also means here. And atra is simply a substitute or a different form of asmin with the same meaning. And this atra is formed in the last chapter of grammar in Tadhita. Atra. So asmin and atra the same forms, but just two forms. So this is actually coming from idam, 7.1 case, and 7.1 is locative. Location. So this is asmin here. Okay. The next word is shura. Okay. What do you think? Is it just shura or would there be something else here with shura? Any guess? Anything? Without looking at
Vishnu Sarga definitely is there.
Yeah, so we have a Vishnu Sarga, a Visarga here, which was deleted by a Sandhi rule, which we'll study in a couple of days. So it's Shuraha. So those who memorized Krishna table, can you please remind yourself with Krishna table? So it's like Krishnaha, Krishnau, and Krishnaha. So this is Shuraha. So Shura, the original word is
Shuraha.
the stem word is Shura.
Shura.
Yeah, so it's a word ending with a short like Krishna. So Shura is 1.3. Prathama Vibhakti and Bahuvachana. And what does Shuraha means? Literally.
Heroes.
Yeah, heroes. Okay. And this is masculine. Yes. Next word is Mahesh. I'm sorry. This is cerebral sh. Mahesh. Mahesh Vasa. Again, there is a Vishnu Sarga here, which was deleted by Sandhi rule. So this is Mahesh Vasa. I think we have got a couple of words here. Can anyone guess what is the first word?
Maha.
Okay, a quick answer. What is the second word?
Issue.
Issue. Are you looking at the word to word?
No, Prabhuji.
I'm just cross-checking. Sorry. Okay, and what is the third one? We just studied.
As.
Vasa.
Asah.
Okay,
As.
Asaha. Right. So we just studied the sandhi.
Yes.
Advaya and idvaya becomes a. It's
A.
guna sandhi, Govinda. So it turned into mahe, mahe. So a and e together became a. And then we had u, and then we had a. So it became udvayam vaha. Udvayam vaha is yana sandhi. Here, this one. So see, both the sandhis are practically applied today. So the u turned into va, and we had maheshwasaha. Okay. So what does maha mean?
Great.
Great. What does issue mean? Okay,
Arrow.
just
Arrow.
1 minute. Are you able to see this dictionary?
No.
Not right now, Prabhuji.
Okay, not right now. Just 1 minute. Now?
Yeah.
I'll share this dictionary in our group, and you can set it up in your PC, and it works very nicely, and it's very wonderful. You'll get meaning of each and every Sanskrit word. So issue means an arrow. An arrow. So issue means an arrow, simply. What does asa means actually? Any guess here? This is a little difficult thing. It can mean two things actually.
I think it can be who are gathered here, who are presented here.
Actually, no. This is asa here means, okay, what is the root? If you remove the vibhakti from asaha, what remains, first of all?
As.
Okay, asa. Yeah. And asa comes from the root verb us. Us bhuvi. You know, us means to be.
To be. Okay.
Yeah, to be. Us bhuvi. So this is not as of English, it is us of Sanskrit. So us bhuvi means to be. So maha issue asa means the support, or let's just use the dictionary. It says asa means a bow, literally. See, just consider asa means the place where the bows are situated. Situated in the sense, you know, we shoot with the help and it's placed upon. So that's a bow actually, asa. So if you see here, asa means a bow.
I translated seated as here means as presented here, but it is connected to the issue word. Okay.
Yeah. So this is bow simply. Okay. So now what does it fully mean? Okay. Again, this is 1.3. The whole word is 1.3. And this is masculine. And it means
Great archers.
Yeah. And it's a compound word actually, a samasa. And it's Bahuvrihi Samas as per the Panini, and in Jiva Goswami system, he names it as Pitambar Samas. Am I right, Mandalpati Prabhu?
Pitambara.
Pitambaro Bahuvrihi, right?
I have to recollect. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Pitambara. So, so Pitambar in Bahuvrihi or in Pitambar Samas, what happens is, okay, first of all, what is samasa? A samasa is a combination of more than one word. It can be a two word, it can be three or even more. And combinedly, they form a word. And there are several types of compounds, samas. So this particular samas, Bahuvrihi Samas or Pitambar as per Jiva Goswami, is basically when all those words, like in this case we have 1, 2 and 3 words, they denote a third person, a third person, then it's known as Bahuvrihi. For example, let's take the word Pitambara. Pitam Ambaram Yasya Saha. Are you with me?
Yes. Yes.
Uh-huh. So Pitam Ambaram Yasya Saha. So Pita means yellow, Ambara means the cloth, Yasya means one who wears or one who possesses. So one who possesses the yellow garment, who is he?
Krishna.
Krishna, of course. So if you notice keenly, Krishna's name was not in this samasa form, Pitambara, no. But this is Bahuvrihi, that together, both the words Ambaram and Pitam, they combinedly denote a third person, Anya Pad Pradhan, Anya Pad Pradhan. There is Purva Pad, here Pitam is Purva Pad, Ambaram is Parapad, Pad means word. So here neither the Purva Pad is Pradhan, it means that Pitambara doesn't denote the meaning of first word, nor the second Pad, Parapad is Pradhan, which means that Pitambara is neither denoting the main, what's to say, the main,
Is it like
yeah,
gulab
okay,
jamun?
yeah, the meaning of Ambram, but it collectively, the Purvapad and Parapad denotes some third person, some third entity, which in this case is Krishna. Similarly, Maha Ishu Asa is a compound, Bahuvrihi compound, and it denotes to a third person, which in this case is the archers. And what kind of archers? Great archers. Was that somewhat clear? Means compounds are not that easy to be understood, but just to make you a bit familiar with it, I just thought of telling it to you.
Means, Prabhu, is it like gulab jamun we say?
Okay, so what's in gulab jamun?
Means like gulab is rose, means a flower, and jamun is a fruit. But when we combine them, it denotes something.
This is a genuine bona fide ISKCON example. But we cannot play around with such words. Another example of this could be Bahuvrihi Samas is very much utilized or employed in scriptures. Okay, whenever I come across any, I'm sorry?
Rameshwar.
No, actually Rameshwar is different. I won't go into the detail because we have paucity of time, shortage of time. So Rameshwar is Ramah Yasya Ishvara Sah. Okay, let me just go. I just like discussing samasas. Rama Yasya Ishvara Sah. Okay. Here we had two words. the Purva Pada was Rama and the Parapada was Ishvara. Is it? So in this case, this is not a Bahuvrihi Samas. This is another Samas where Purva Pada is Pradhan. The meaning of the Purva Pada is important. Here Ram is important. Or I'm sorry, Rama, yes. Oh, no, sorry. It's Bahuvrihi because it's referred to Shivji. I'm really sorry. Yes. So it's of course a Bahuvrihi because we are not referring to Rama here. We are referring to Shivji, who is a third entity. And yes, of course. I'm really sorry for that. So it's a Bahuvrihi. Rameshwar is a Bahuvrihi.
So Prabhu, Sandhi and Samas can go together also, is it? Like,
yes, we can employ Sandhi in Samasas. No issue.
okay.
Okay, we'll move ahead. We are done with Maheshwasaha, great archers. Then Bhima Arjuna, copy. Bhima Arjuna Sama. Okay, can anyone disclose different words in this word?
Bhima Arjuna
Samaha.
First of all, we have a Vishnu Sarga here. The first word is Bhima, second word is Arjuna, and third, so to say, is Sama. So Bhima is Bhima, Arjuna is Arjuna, and Samaha means equal to. So those, again, it's a Bahuvrihi Samas, referring to a third entity. Those who are equal to, Bhima and Arjuna. Okay. Next is Yudhi. Okay, so what is the stem word here? Anyone?
Yud.
Okay, Yudh, right? Okay, is it a noun, verb, or what else? In this case?
Noun, Prabhuji?
Yeah, this is a noun. Which case? Any guess?
It is 7 case.
7.1, right? So, and what does it mean?
in fighting.
In the battle.
In the battle.
In the battle. And it's masculine. Is it masculine? Yudh. Or oh, it's actually feminine. See, this F means feminine, M means masculine. So this is, so whenever you are stuck somewhere, at certain point of time, then you can consult our dictionary. It will tell you everything, the linga and the meanings and so on. So this is a feminine word. Okay. Next word is you dhano. Is it really no? I said you something maybe few classes back that whenever you notice O, generally 90%, then just convert it into ah. So it's yuyudhana. Yuyudhana. And it's simply, is it a noun, verb, or what else?
Noun.
It's a noun, very simple. And this is 1.1. This is like Krishna because it ends in a short a. And it's a noun. Yuyudhana. Simple. Then next is Viratash. Okay, one more very interesting thing. Whenever you notice this sh at the end, 99% it's also a conversion of Visarga. So it's Virata. You may write it down that whenever you notice this palatal sh, then it's simply a conversion of Visarga. So it's Visarga. So it's a noun. It's 1.1. It's like Krishna table. Okay, let me just check if you memorized Krishna table. What would be the 3.3 of Virata? Please write it in the chat box. whether with diacritics or without diacritics, doesn't matter. What would be 3.3 of Virata? Just write it down in the chat box, please. You can write it to me personally, not to everyone. Then everyone would be able to see, and we may incur some sin, some cheating. Okay. I'm asking for 3.3, not for 3.1. So please write 3.3. Okay, one person is right. Okay. We got answers from 2 devotees till now. 3.3 form of Virata. Okay. 3 devotees wrote it till now. 3 more to go. You may quickly go through the notes. The 3.3 form of Virata. So countdown starts now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Okay, I asked for 3.3, Prabhuji. So it's okay. Let me just write it. It's Viratai. It's Viratai. Viratai. So devotees were right. So please memorize. I can at any point ask you anything. So this is Viratai. And this is masculine, of course. And even this was masculine. The next word is cha. Cha is simple. What is cha? Is it a noun? Is it a verb or what? Or what else?
Preposition.
Indeclinable.
Yeah, it's an avyaya, undeclinable. Avyaya means the forms of avyaya remains the same throughout any place. You will never see cha like chaha or something like cham. No, it will remain cha. It means
And.
and. The next word is Dhru Padash. So again, I just told you the rule. We have a sha here, palatal sha. So it's a, what is it?
Drupada.
Yeah, it's a Visarga, Vishnu Sarga simply. Very simple. Drupadaha. And it's a noun. It's like Krishna table 1.1. And okay, quickly write down the 5.2 of Drupada. 5.2 Drupada in the chat box. Please write down privately. 5.2 of Drupada. Time starts now. 10 seconds. Okay, 2 answers. Okay, 1. Yeah, both are right. 5.2 of Drupada. Okay. Abhi, Nandan, Prabhu, Aishwarya Mataji, you may also write. So, even if you're wrong, no issue.
जी मैंने भी लर्न नहीं किया, मैं देखूंगी.
Okay, no issue. So it's Drupadabhyam, very clear. Anyways, so it means Drupada. It's a masculine thing, and it means Drupada. It's the name. Again, cha, avyaya. It means and. The last word is Maharatha. Okay. So what is this Maharatha?
Dambara Samasa.
Okay. Oh, this is actually Maharatha, if I'm not wrong, with a long A, because we are referring to many Maharathis. Or short. We may check it later. What is? Or maybe even now. Okay, so it's a short one, Maharatha. So I was right at the. So this is a noun. This is like Krishna table 1.1, and okay, what is the 7.3 of Maharatha? Maharatha. Just write it down, please, in the chat box. 7.3 of Maharatha. 7.3. Okay, one answers. Okay. Yeah. I'm asking for 7.3, not for 7.1. Okay, so it's okay, so it's Maharatheshu. Maharatheshu. And it means how can we translate the Maharatha? The great chariot warriors. Charioteers. Okay, charioteers. So here we go, and we'll quickly do the Anvaya.
To Samasa, this Ramakrishna Samasa.
This Maharatha?
Yes, Maharatha.
Could
actually, be Krishna, because
this is not Ram Krishna. This is actually Pitambara Bahuvrihi again, because again, if you see, Maha just means great, and Ratha just means chariot. But we are talking of the charioteers, so it's again a Bahuvrihi Samas, isn't it? We are not talking of Ratha, and we are not talking of anything great. We are talking about the charioteers who are great charioteers. So this is again a Bahuvrihi Samas. Just a minute, please. हरे कृष्णा मैं आपको ना थोड़ी देर में फोन करता हूँ क्लास चल रही है so this is also again a bahuvrihi so you may see that the purva pada the first pada is maha which just means great second pada is ratha and so in this case we have this is anya pada pradhan case not purva pada pradhan or para pada pradhan we'll get to know this purva pada Parapada and Anyapada in the subsequent classes as we proceed.
Prabhu,
So
one question just.
Prabhu,
like normally for plural, means Bahuvachan, it is Ratha kind of. So
okay.
Here is it like it is only for Drupada or means it is
in this case actually what's happening is if you see Vyudhano is singular, Virata is singular, Drupada is singular. And we add all those words with this avyas cha, okay? So either we can use Maharatha with Drupada, no issue. Or we can even use Maharatha with all these three.
Okay.
Yeah, both things. Yes. So if you check the commentary even, maybe everyone can mute if you're not speaking, some noise are coming. So if you check the commentaries, so one commentator, I think it's Baldev Vidyabhushan, he uses Maharatha for everyone. You may check it personally. Okay, we'll do a quick Anvaya here.
Okay.
Do we have any verb here?
No.
Any guess? One devotee says no. Do we have any verb here?
What is the question?
Do we find any verb in this verse? we don't have any verb in this case. So
What?
I'm sorry.
No, it is hidden, but it should be there. Asti.
UD.
I'm sorry. I
No,
heard Mandalpati Prabhu, but another devotee.
yes. No, means it is not written here, but like in Sanskrit
Mm-hmm.
when we
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, yes. So Mandalpati Prabhu is right. Everyone can hear me. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. So we don't have any manifest, so to say, manifest verb here. So in such cases, we are supposed to accept a verb. So here, as per the shloka, we'll accept a verb which will be santi. Santi means, santi means to be to be present. Santi. Okay, so we'll start now.
Prabhu, one
Yes.
thing like Mahesh Vasa. So
Uh-huh.
we saw that the root word is us. That means to be.
Okay.
But
Actually,
when we
yeah. So I got your thing because the root was we had the root us bhuvi. Okay, but this is a not verb form. The verb stem is used as a word here, as a noun here.
okay.
So we cannot take that as an independent verb. So we have to take an independent verb. So in this case, we take santi. So I put it in brackets so that we can know that it's a ghost verb, so to say. Okay, santi means to be present. So who are present? What is the main noun in the verse? In the first line, okay, let's look like this. What is the main noun who is present? Who all are present?
So
I'm sorry?
Sura.
Yeah.
Sura.
So Shura is more appropriate and closer noun. So it's Shura. Okay. What more about Shura? Any specific quality about Shura?
Mahesh Vasa.
Yeah, they are expert archers. So we put it like Mahesh Vasa. Okay. Anything
And
else?
Maharatha means because they are compared with Maharatha, like
Okay.
so Maharatha also they are also Maharatha.
See, one thing is to be noticed here. Yesterday I told you that when we are comparing an adjective with a noun, a visheshana with a visheshya, then their vibhaktis have to be same. So Shura is 1.3, so Maheshwasa is also 1.3, but Maharatha is not 1.3 in this case with Shura. So it won't settle with Shura, it will come later. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So anything else about Shura and Maheshwasa?
Himarjuna Sama.
Yeah. So it's Bhima Arjuna Samaha. So here we go. Okay. And where are they present? Where?
Atra.
Yudhi, Atra Yudhi.
Yeah, Yudhi and okay, let's just color it. Yudhi and Atra. So they are present in the battlefield, and Atra is just a pronoun for Yuti. In this present is in this battlefield, like Arjuna is saying to Krishna. No, sorry, Duryodhana is saying to Dronacharya that in this battlefield. Okay, who are those Shuras? What are the names? Yuyudhana?
Viratashcha, Yudhanu, Viratashcha, Drupadashcha.
Yeah, Yuyudhanaha, then Virataha, and third name is Drupadaha. Drupadaha. And it's simply connected, all this with cha in between. So this cha can be connected to Yuyudhana and Virataha and Drupada. Any case, no issue. Okay. So what more about these three warriors? Again, they are
Maharatha.
Maharatha. So Maharatha, and so we can connect it like with all three because Maharatha is 1.1 and all these three are 1.1. So we have to connect it with all three, or we can even take it with Drupada only. No issue. So yeah, so it goes something like this. Any question?
I wondered.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
About Yudhana. It becomes Yudhano. How is that? Can you please explain?
This is simply a Sandhi rule that it is aha at the first place, but some Sandhi rules is applied and it becomes O. Aha becomes O. So most of the time when you see O at the end of a word, 90% it's aha. And in couple of days we'll be coming to that Sandhi in Vishnu Sarga Sandhi, the Visarga Sandhi part. So like that. Okay.
One more thing, like the Vibhakti Yudhana.
Yes.
So Sandhi is applying or Vibhakti is applying. How would It's mostly it's like how I mean I was looking for Vibhaktis, so that's why I asked this question.
Okay, so here is the dictionary. In such cases, we need to check our vocabulary through dictionary. So, Yuyudhana. So, there is nothing like Yuyudhan ending with na. It's ending with a, right? So, it's a word ending in the letter a, short a. So if we add Visarga, it's like Krishnavat. It's like the word Krishna. And that's how we get to know that it's Sandhi and it's not a Vibhakti. Of course, it's a Vibhakti, means this is 1.1. And after applying the Vibhakti, we convert into O by Sandhi rule. So, of course, we have got a Vibhakti and then we apply a Sandhi, isn't it?
Okay, yes.
So, both things are applied in this. Any more discussion on this verse or whatever we studied today? So please memorize that Krishna table, and moving ahead, please memorize this Hari table even. So I think every 2 or 3 days we'll memorize one table. So
Yud,
this is yes.
Prabhu, Yud follows some other table, like some different rule for discrimination with this Yud, because the seventh is Yudhi, uh, not Yudhe. Like
Oh, the root word is yud here. Yud.
Yud, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So like when it is A ending, then it is like Krishna 7.1.
Yeah, but that word will be yuddha. Yuddha. You see
Yeah,
this D here, extra the,
yeah.
but the word here is simply yud. And
Okay, so
actually, this yuddha is also forming with the root yud, ahead. But the root word is yud, and in this case, they are using yud here.
yeah. So normally when we learn vibhaktis, then we have certain examples like E ending, U ending, and A ending. So
Yes.
which ending table will be used here for Yud to make
Oh,
it?
yud is okay. Are you saying this table starts here?
Yes. Prabhuji.
So this is
Like with
words.
different endings.
Yeah, these are words ending in consonants. So first of all, like we have an example of word ending in a consonant with at. So we have the word mahat. So
Okay.
mahat in 7.1 becomes mahati. So similarly, yudh ends in dh, dha, and 7.1 becomes yudhi, like mahati. Okay.
Yeah.
So in this way, they will be coming when you will be memorizing all these tables gradually.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Any more discussion? So please memorize the second word, Hari, from your noun tables. And those who didn't memorize even Krishna, so please, Smartavyo Satatam Vishnu. Please memorize Krishna. Otherwise, no hope for remembering Hari and so on. Okay, so we'll end here and I'll post the stuff as usual in the group so that you can ref.
The Sandhi one also please give.
Okay, I'll share the Sandhi document even with in the group so that you can go through. Okay, so we'll end here. So thank you very much. See you tomorrow the same time. Hare Krishna.
Thanks.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Prabhuji, Pranam. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.